I think it would be a mistake, for example, to allow Ukraine's accession process to be faster than that of the Western Balkans. I think we would make a mistake by using a double standard.
A new political dispute has erupted inside the European Union after Italy's Prime Minister challenged proposals to speed up Ukraine's path to membership. Meloni argued that accelerating Kiev's accession while Western Balkan candidates have waited for years would be a mistake. The Italian leader warned that treating Ukraine differently could create what she called a dangerous double standard within the enlargement process. Rome continues to support Ukraine politically and militarily, but insists EU membership rules should apply equally to all candidates. Meloni said the Union should avoid sending the message that some countries are more important than others when it comes to accession. Several Balkan states have spent years navigating the EU accession process, and Italy says their candidacies should not be sidelined. The disagreement adds a new layer to Europe's debate over how to support Ukraine while preserving the credibility of the enlargement process. The key question now is no longer whether Ukraine should join the European Union, but how quickly Brussels is willing to move.
Allow me, at the opening of the conclusion of this debate, to express my personal solidarity. The solidarity of the entire government to the opposition for the loss of Viktor Orban, the main source of inspiration and main argument for a decade now in this chamber, which today clearly is starting to have its difficulties. Colleague, Etchery, Risotto, I do not agree, as you know, on overcoming unanimity. It is an issue on which I have responded many times, and I reiterate the fact that what we have demonstrated in these years is that politics ultimately makes its syntheses. Even on Israel, I said that we support various initiatives, starting with sanctions against the settlers, starting with sanctions against the ministers, which we will evaluate when the proposals arrive, regarding, let's say, measures against products coming from those areas. I reiterate what I said in the report. I believe that going further and isolating Israel would not be functional. Not only would it not be functional for Israel, it would not be functional for us and our objectives. There is a necessary European presence to defend what we want to defend, including maintaining the two-state option, the two-state solution. After that, we have no ambiguity whatsoever on the issue of, let's say, Ukraine's entry into the EU. I also said what I think about this in my report. But I want to tell you that, unlike you, I think that the proposals put forward by Chancellor Merkel are proposals that should be explored. I think it would be a mistake, for example, to allow Ukraine's accession process to be faster than that of the Western Balkans. I think we would make a mistake by using a double standard. I think we would make a mistake by sending the message that some nations are more important than others. And I think that on one hand we say we must respect all countries that want to join, while on the other we have a matter of urgency that is certainly tied to the Ukraine question. I think the Chancellor is seeking a synthesis between these two needs. I think that in the face of these debates, the approach must be pragmatic, as usual, and not ideological, and I say this also in reference to the Balkans, recalling, I believe someone mentioned it, perhaps I don't remember, colleague Moro, Del Barba, colleague Benedetto Della Vedova. The Balkans, some of the Western Balkan countries, were among the first to propose a debate on this issue and to propose, let's say, different or supplementary forms compared to traditional accession as we know it. You are trying to tell the Italians that the government is spending the little money it has on weapons and cannons instead of investing it in hospitals, schools, and essential services. What is happening, instead, is the exact opposite. Not only are we not taking a single euro away from hospitals, schools, and services, but we are spending those resources to protect hospitals, schools, and essential services, to secure infrastructure, to guarantee energy supply, to defend citizens' data, to strengthen emergency response capacity, and to protect our borders. You are the ones making billions on weapons in exchange for tweets, for Trump endorsements, when you were playing your palace games. Having said that, colleague Silvestri, I want to address, again through you, Mr. President, colleague Laura Boldrini, President of the Chamber of Deputies of Italy, who earlier, while colleague Vigna was speaking, became indignant because colleague Alessandro Giglio Vigna addressed me as Mr. President. I know that colleague Boldrini has clearly always been very mobilized on these issues. I respect her point of view, which I do not share. But I wonder, colleague Boldrini, again through the presidency, whether this is really the point of respecting women, or whether the point of respecting women is rather listening to a colleague who does not invite me to wear knee pads, but tells me that I have worn knee pads. Colleague, Francesco Silvestri, what you cannot accept is that there is a person who, without ever wearing knee pads, has arrived where she has arrived, without help, without favoritism, and without shortcuts. Is that what bothers you? Does it bother you that the first female prime minister in Italy came from the right because you were not capable of proposing one?
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry guards.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.